Sure. So what we have seen here is, according to the press releases from both China and North Korea, that China invited Kim Jong-un to visit Beijing, and that Kim Jong-un took him up on the offer. Both sides had apparently extensive conversations about both domestic and foreign policy issues, and of course, at the end of the day, did talk about nuclear issues as well.
And we got a sense that the North Koreans coming out saying that if the deal is right, they're open to nuclear disarmament. You know, how seriously can the world, the international community, take that?
Well, the problem, as they say, is the devil is in the details. The North Koreans have offered denuclearization before, but when they talk about denuclearization, what they are saying is not only does North Korea offer, quote unquote, to eliminate its nuclear weapons, but South Korea and the United States have to offer significant security guarantees, not simply that the U.S. and South Korea won't attack North Korea, but that ultimately the U.S.-South Korean alliance has to be ended. That is an enormous obstacle to realistic denuclearization.
Is there an opportunity here, though, for some sort of realistic movement? If we look at these two men, Mr. Xi and Mr. Kim, both of them essentially are lifelong leaders. They're going to have to be dealing with each other potentially for the next few decades. Is this about these two men trying to figure out something?
Well, very clearly, North Korea is, at the end of the day, smaller than China and does depend heavily on China for subsidized food, for fuel shipments, for things like that. So, yes, both countries are, in a sense, feeling out, both leaders are feeling out where is the other coming from. This is, of course, the very first time that Xi himself has met Kim Jong-un, despite Kim Jong-un having been in power for the whole time that Xi's been in power. It's the first time that Kim Jong-un has left North Korea. There's an interesting additional factor here, which is that over the last several years, we've seen Russia play more of a role towards supporting North Korea.
And they've opted again for some sort of support or involvement recently.
Exactly. And so I think one of the interesting problems for Xi Jinping then is how far can he push North Korea into negotiating with the South, with the United States, when you have Vladimir Putin in the background sort of saying, no, you
putting up his hand saying, me too, me too. Where does this leave the Americans? How isolated from this are the Americans? Mr. Trump tweeting in many ways, I'm paraphrasing here, that his fire and fury type diplomacy and pressure is worked. He made this happen.
Well, I think it is important to note that back in November, for example, Kim Jong-un refused to meet a representative from Xi Jinping, the head of the Chinese Communist Party's foreign office. So something happened between November of last year and March now. Is it fire and fury? Is it maximum pressure? It's hard to say. I wouldn't say that the U.S. is isolated, especially because if this summit between President Trump and Kim Jong-un comes off, and we're still not sure it's going to, that could radically alter, again, the entire structure of the area, because it allows Kim Jong-un, in a sense, a potential way of limiting China's influence if there were some kind of breakthrough, some kind of expanded trade or aid or other program.
Okay, fascinating stuff. Thanks for your perspective. Dean Cheng there from the Heritage Foundation. Thank you.